right, we should be live. Let me just make sure that the live stream is working. Yes, it is. So today I'm going to be doing more of the same, continuing on with the React course. The other thing is that I should mention is I am using a new streaming software. So I switched from OBS to Streamlabs. So there's not really any changes, honestly, that much, except for the fact that I'm using a chat. There's a chat overlay now, or at least there should be. So that's kind of exciting. So I think we were on to rendering lists, right? I believe this is where we were at. And then I'll get my notes open as well. Yeah, so I've got my rendering list stuff here. And yeah, I'll just continue with going through these this lesson. So I should be public, right? Just want to make sure. Yes. Okay. Nice. So we got this key property, right? Key is a string or number that acts as a unique identifier ID to differentiate list items. Well-chosen key helps React infer what exactly has happened. Yes. If data is generated and persisted locally, it can generate. Keys can be generated using unique among siblings. Must be static, non-changing. Keys will not be received as props to a component. It's a good thing to note. All right, let's do these challenges here. So splitting a list in two. Change it to show two separate lists, one after another. Chemists and everyone else. Like previously, you can determine. Okay, so this is so people.map. So I think we need to. So there's our data, and okay, so we need to create. Chemists and everyone else, right? Yo, blueberries, how's it going? Okay, so let's modify this to do chemists. People.filter. And then the filter rules are what? Person.profession. Oh, right, okay, I see. And then we need to map chemists, okay. So we can do const chemists. Actually, say chemist list. Hello, Abdu. How's it going? And then we need everyone else, right? Others list. Person dot what? Profession. I'll just keep it person actually. So you have a chemist list and then a others list. Others. My advice, I want to learn JS. Should I use Free Code Camp or just watch a YouTube course? I would use Free Code Camp, honestly. I think YouTube courses are kind of trap you because they don't let you think about how to solve problems yourself as well. So I would recommend doing Free Code Camp or Odin Project or some other independent learning. Because I feel like with I feel like with, what should I say? With YouTube tutorials, it's very easy to get kind of sucked into just following the YouTube tutorial without thinking about what you're actually doing, right? So, yeah. Just checking the... Oh yeah, okay, so the chat overlay is working. Interesting. Cool, cool. All right, I wanted to make sure that was working. Okay, so now what we can do is we can get our list of others list, and then we do others.map. What is the problem here? An error occurred in the list component. Consider adding an error boundary. I mean, okay, so this did work. Okay. Challenge 2 of 4. Nested lists in one component. Make a list of recipes from this array. So here's our data. Okay. For each recipe in the array, display its name as a heading 2 and list its ingredients as in a UL. Okay. So let's do const recipes. Recipe list equals recipes dot map. And then we can return stuff here. So we'll do maybe a div or UL. Sorry, it's a UL. It has a lot of theory and it takes a long time with normal programming before it starts with web development. The YouTube course or free code camp? Okay, so we need to get each recipe out of free code camp. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, but the theory though is good, Abdu. It can be good. It can reinforce your understanding of what you're doing once you get to web development. So I don't know. It's up to you though. If you want to do it, oh shit, that didn't save. That's annoying. So if I go back here, it doesn't save. But it's up to you. It's ultimately up to you what you decide, what you want to do. Okay, so let's do const recipe equals recipes. And then do this. Oh, geez. And then we'll do list item key equals recipe.id. Then we get an image, right? Or do we have an image? So we'll do, and it's list ingredients in a UL. Okay, so we have to do another iteration. I think I might forget what I learned in HTML and CSS over time. I'm trying to do projects and learn at the same time. Yeah, free code camp's great, Abdu, honestly. Or Odin Project, but free code camp if that's what you want to do. Okay, so we have our ID and then we have our H2 with the recipe title. And also doing like projects and challenges and stuff is very good. Like I'm doing this challenge, right? recipe.name. And then here we will include it as UL for recipe lists. There. So there's our recipe list, and then inside of here we need a UL for the ingredients list, right? So we actually have to make this an explicit return. So we'll do it like this. Return and then up here we'll extract the list of ingredients. List is recipe.ingredients.map ingredient. This is kind of hard to read. I wonder if I can. Nah, it's okay. And then we return an li with I guess there's no real key for it, right? So we'll just have it as a default ingredient. Ingredients list. There we go. And then maybe a break. Nice. So there's our there are 5 for each one. There might be 5 ingredients, yeah. So we generate the ingredients list for each recipe and then put that ingredients list in an unordered list here. So there we go. I think that's good for that challenge. All right, so the recipe list component contains 2 nested map cells. To simplify it, extract a recipe component from it which will accept ID name and ingredients props. Okay, so let's do that then. So we'll do another function recipe that accepts ID name ingredients, right? So recipes.map recipe, and then we will inside of this return a recipe, right? So we will do recipe ID equals recipe.id, name equals recipe.name, and ingredients equals recipe.ingredients. And then we return this guy. Just need ID, name, and then we'll do ingredients.map. ID is recipe ID. JSX value should be either an expression or a quoted. Ah, yes, because of it needs to be JAS, of course. we're good. There we go. Then I need to put the child into, okay, so this is, each child in a list should have a unique key prop. Yeah, so we have the key here. We set the key of these to ingredient. So that should be fine. Where do you place the outer key? I guess you'd put it, the outer key would be here, right? Or I guess I could put it in here. I could say key is recipe.id. I wonder if this even works. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I had the right idea putting the key here. I forgot about the spread operator too. Instead of writing out each property here, you can just do this for shorthand. Yeah. All right, either way, I think it's fine. I get the idea. List with a separator. Your job is to insert a HR separator between each paragraph. Your result should look like this. P key index. Haiku only contains 3 lines, but your solution should work with any number of lines. Only between the P elements. Okay, so what I should say is we'll do it. We have to do it a conditional here. So we have to say return this, right? So we'll say if index is less than poem dot length -1, then we return the version with the HR included. What's the problem here? Oh, because I need to wrap this in a fragment, I think. Okay, indenting's all fucked up, but doesn't really matter. Otherwise, we return this. Okay. Where is the semicolon happening here? is there a semicolon? If index is less than poem.length minus 1, we return this. Not sure where that. Oh, it's coming from there. Interesting. Okay, theoretically this should work though, right? Because if the index is less than the last one, then we put this HR underneath. Otherwise we don't, right? So I don't know what this error. An error occurred in the poem element. I don't understand why this is here. Let's see what the solution did. Output.push. Oh, okay, so it didn't actually put the HR in there. Oh, because it also needs a key too. Can we just have it be the index? This is definitely a much more elegant solution. I'm just confused why. You can write a manual loop inserting HR and P into the output array. This else condition isn't really needed, but just trying to figure out why. This isn't displaying. Map to manual loop or use fragment. Yeah, so I used the fragment. Just don't know why it's not showing up. Like, what if I just did another test here? Yeah, so that's not even showing up. Paragraph key index. Index line key index. If I delete this guy, huh? How is it still rendering If index is less than poem.length -1. So it's only ever using this return. So this if statement's always returning false for some reason. And I don't know why. Oh, poem.lines.length. That's the problem. Poem.lines index. There we go. Or, well, just line, I guess. Okay, there we go. Got it. Figured it out. Oh, okay. Each child in the list should have a unique key prop. Wait, where do I not have a key prop? I don't know, man. Looks pretty good to me. Okay, cool. Let's mark that complete. Gotta go through keys. What keys are and how to use them. Okay, so you may recall that React uses virtual DOM. Yes. React uses keys to tell the difference between components for optimized re-rendering of the virtual DOM. For example, if you update the state, it's still the same instance of the component. React will know this because the component's key hasn't changed. React assigns keys automatically, but keys should be assigned manually in the following circumstances and cases. I guess. Let's see. Okay. Keys when rendering lists. See this note. I think it was this one. No. It was rendering techniques. Rendering. Previous lesson, we used the .map method to iterate over an array of data and return a component rendering a list of components. Now imagine if any of the items in the list were to change. Yeah, so, okay, so we don't re-render the whole list because we use keys. That makes sense. These are passed in as a prop to a component. Private property cannot be accessed in the component definition itself. Using array indices. I'm doing pretty all right, Anime. How are you doing? Just studying more React before I get into my first project. So yeah, a lot of this stream is gonna be mostly just a study stream. Oh, nice. Happy birthday. How old are you now? You don't have to answer that. Um, you worked on an event manager, want to see it? Sure. How's it going, Mac 2? Yeah, Anime, you could post the link in the Discord. I don't think links work in the YouTube chat, but if you post it in the Discord under the self promo channel, yeah, sounds good. I'll take a look at it on the next break for sure. I think I'll go for the next 18 minutes, and then I'll take a look. Unless you're leaving, in which case I can take a look at it now. Yeah. Discord, I got you. Don't worry. But unless you're leaving, I'll take a look at it on the next break. You're an IT major trying to learn Java, and I don't know what the benefit of programming is, so you can help me understand. I mean, it depends what you want to do, right? Like, if you want to be like in IT, like I work in IT, so if you want to be an IT person, oh, you just woke up from sleep? Okay. Um, yeah, if you're let me get back to that. If you're in IT and you just want to stay in IT, you don't really need to know how to program. It can be helpful for some things, like if you are IT for a like software development company or something like that, like understanding code and debugging and stuff like that can be helpful for helping the team. But if you just want to work in IT, especially like tier one help desk, which is probably where you'll be starting, you don't need to know how to code at all. Um, but if you want to work in software development or make a career pivot to software development related fields, whether it's software engineering or whatever, then yeah, learning to code's pretty important. You want to become a cybersecurity employee, yeah. Um, I don't know much about cybersec. I'm not gonna lie. I'm more of a systems analyst. Like that's my role. But I would imagine for things like cybersec, understanding networks and security protocols and maybe operating systems like Linux and how to use the command line is more important in that case. I wouldn't focus as much on writing software. How did I decide to go to React? Did you prefer front end? Yeah, I mean I'm kind of trying to be full stack. Um, so I'm starting with front end and then I'm gonna pivot to back end in a bit after I learn front end. So I'm following the Odin project for my to guide my learning, and right now it's kind of um, it's focused on front end. So you want SOC analyst? Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I don't think SOC analysts need to know how to code, to be honest with you. Um, at least from what I've seen. I could be wrong though. I don't do cybersec, so I don't know. You still need to code if you want to do cybersecurity. Fair enough. Yo, RoboSword, how's it going, my friend? Don't you need to write scripts? Yeah, you do, but there's a lot of predefined scripts out there. Um, but I mean, scripting is not the same as like writing software. It's very different skill. I mean, you still need to know how to program, like generally speaking, but like script writing, like is very different than writing software, even web development. Um, yeah, it's completely different set of skills, I would say. You're actually job hunting, then something happened, and I realized I should just work on projects that should actually pitch me. Yeah, exactly. I hear you. That's kind of what I'm trying to do too, anime. Like, I mean, I'm not prepared yet to make a career pivot. Um, maybe in a year or something, but like, I'm not even close. Uh, so yeah. Anyway, let me see what's going on. Okay. You're thinking backend might give you more stricter fundamentals than JS as a starting point. I started with C sharp, now kind of learning Scala. Nice. Um, I mean, I already have some scripting knowledge in like Python and C a little bit because I did do a CS degree, but it was mostly focused on math. It was a math CS degree, so I do have some scripting knowledge, Johannes, but yeah, I decided to learn web dev because I wanted to, yeah, just because I wanted to, honestly. I've always wanted to do web development. Um, if you do C sharp, you could easily cook in Unity. Yeah, fair. I've never used Unity before. I'm not gonna lie. Um, can you send a link to your Discord or is it on description? Oh yeah. Here, I got you. There you go. You're a web dev for 5 years, kind of miss it. Yeah, that's fair, Johannes. I don't know. I am using it as a starting point at the very least, right? Like I want to do web dev, but maybe I'll branch into other areas once I become proficient with web dev. I don't know. I'm just using it as a starting point. Um, because again, like my degree like uh didn't teach me how to actually build software. It just taught me theory, which was fine, but it didn't it gave me the basis that I needed to learn web development, but it didn't actually teach me web development. So that's kind of why I started this YouTube channel to sort of hold myself accountable for my learning, right? So, and I've been at it now nearly 3 months, so it's been quite a journey. So I did the basic HTML, CSS stuff, and now I'm into React. Exactly, RoboSword. I could pivot into stuff like that. Um, if I want to make a project, what should I do or start with? Um, I would say Mac, like, honestly, choose either the Odin Project or Free Code Camp and get that to develop some basic fundamental skills. And then there are projects in the Odin Project like the calculator, building a calculator, building tic tac toe, stuff like that. That's really foundational for skill. People don't understand how important it is to build foundational skills. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I don't really want to do web development. I'm just going to use it as some startup for making money and go for full throttle into AI. Fair enough, anime. You know what? Like if that's what you want to do, like all the power to you. I just think again, like if you're going to leverage AI, right? Um, I think it's important to know those fundamentals and have a strong basis, right? Because and I was kind of saying this yesterday on stream is like it's easy for senior devs to say just use AI, but if you're a junior dev and you don't know what the hell the AI is doing, you're gonna get stuck pretty quick. Um, nice anime, nice. If you want to make money, what should you learn? I'm probably not the best to ask for that, Mac, because I make $0 on this YouTube channel. I make $0 on anything I've built in software. I have not made a single cent in software. However, if you want to make money fast and you don't mind like kind of grit work, like I think you said you're in IT, right? Like IT is a fairly easy thing to get a job in, I think, at least compared to software development, at least to start. You can also do web development too. Um, your company's pushing agents so hard, junior kind of rough. Yeah, fair. The agency I work for is the opposite, Johannes. For sure, the foundation is going to help you scale with focus on security, auth, and many different points. Yeah, exactly. Coding therapist, I agree. But yeah, no, you could do like you could if you want, you could make like a SaaS or something. But I feel like the problem is with like making SaaSes and like trying to market your own projects is it's such an oversaturated market, especially with all the AI slop SaaSes that are out there that are like taking money. Like it's very hard to compete in that market, which is why I'm just learning for the sake of career advancement and maybe getting another job at some point. You're actually looking for a junior dev role, gonna take a remote job, preferably want a remote job. Yeah, I agree. I have a remote job and it's quite nice. Like my job is remote. Um, However, I'm restricted to the country that I live in, so uh, depends. Some remote jobs you can work anywhere in the world. Mine, you can't. So, but I can work from home, which is nice, as long as I, you know, don't leave the country. Um, okay. Yeah, exactly, anime. Just because I work for the government, so that's all I'll say for what that's concerned. Um, Tangentially for the government. Um, Remote gang, exactly. Yup. Okay, so dynamically rendering lists is definitely the most common use case where you need to manually provide a key, but it's certainly not the only time. Um, Create a function that will set each of the relevant states to its initial value. Useful for rendering states from an initial value. I've got this friend who works for a Canadian agency and he does front end. He in Canada. Yeah, fair enough. Um, it depends though. Like I work for the government, right? So uh, it's a little different. If it's a Canadian agency but they're private sector, it doesn't matter, generally speaking. But I work for the public sector, so I'm funded by like taxpayers and stuff like that. So there's some rules around, also security too. Like endpoints can't leave Canada. Like I work in IT, and if we have an endpoint that leaves Canada, the thing's bricked. You can't access anything outside of the country. Um, and we do that for security reasons. I didn't configure that. We work with we contract out our security mostly because our IT team is not large enough for that. So, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. Okay, so let's see. When it re-renders, it still has the instance game because it doesn't change. Clicking it will cause the key state to change. Okay, so by updating a key, causes React to see component as a brand new instance of that component. I feel like though this is kind of a hack. I feel like this is very hacky. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Okay, I sent the link. You can check it out when you're free. Yeah, I will animate. I'll check it out at the end of this session, so in 6 minutes. Okay, let's see. Section on keys. And then what else do we have? Index as key being an anti-pattern. Oh, this is a video. I don't watch videos on stream, so I'll skip that one. I should have everything I need to know from here. Yo, King Hat, how's it going? Long time no see. I'm at React now, yes. I started React 2 days ago. This is the third React stream. So, yeah, it's exciting stuff. You know what? I will say, the 40 days of JS or whatever I did has been really, really helpful for learning React. Okay, so this we already learned. Keys tell React which array element. Yes, got it. But to finish this not cool job of mine, then I'm going to come back to stream. Sounds good. Anime. Different sources of data provide different sources of keys. Yes. Okay, we already went through a lot of this. I think we did these challenges, did we not? Yeah, we did all these challenges already. Okay, so we literally did this page already. Nice. Okay, so we're good. What is an anti-pattern? There's an anti-pattern. Keys should never be generated. Right, that's the don't generate keys on the fly. After you have the fundamentals down, are you just going to code with AI after and review the code, or still going to write? I don't know, King Hat. I haven't decided. I think I'm going to make a few. I think the approach that I'm going to do is make a few projects completely manually, and then I might slowly start integrating AI tools if I like them, or at least I'll start playing with them. But I do not have the financials right now. I don't have the financial capabilities to pay for models. I am not interested, nor is it really in my budget. Cost of living is high enough as it is, so I'm not interested in paying for AI at all. So I'll work with free tools that are out there, maybe just to play around with them. But I'm not probably going to heavily leverage AI unless I, either start my own business or I need it for some other reason, or want it for some other reason. But I think for now, like if I do start using AI tools, I think I'll just stick with the free. With the free versions. I know they're super limited. I know people say that they're useless and all these things, but I don't really care. I'm not so interested in maximizing my AI use because again, I don't, even though I work in IT, I don't make a lot of money, so or I'm not like rich or anything, so I can't like pay these like exorbitant AI fees. So anyway, Introduction to state. State intro. So I think we're done this getting started with React section. So we're gonna do this state. Actually, I'll just call this React state. Maybe just state. And then do these, and then we'll start this project. Hopefully, maybe by the end of this stream. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. Any exciting application you build is likely going to change over time. The user exploring it. The changes could be as basic as toggling drop-down menu. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, this is like disgusting. We've got this like in browser environment, which is crazy. We write components in React a lot. Many times we want them to undergo visual changes. I wonder if I can like zoom this out actually. No, I can't zoom out the individual editor. That's crazy. Dev box. Okay, so here we go. So I'll just have that open on the side. It's crazy that you can have an entire like text editor as an embed. That's kind of it's a little cursed. I don't know. React state refers to a component's memory. The useState hook. So, okay, well, I'll start that after the break. Okay, so I promised Anime that I was going to take a look at their thing. So I'll check the Discord. Cool. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Let's bring this guy up over here. All right, so this was made by Anime Haven in chat. See how the event manager can solve your biggest problems. I think I have a couple suggestions related to styling. Like, I don't know why there's like it seems like you're using the defaults for these underlines and stuff like this. Like maybe there's like also no margins here. This text probably should be bigger, stuff like that. But that's just like all front end stuff. I'm sure you're gonna, address that. This is also misspelled. I think this should be event maybe. All right, so let's do this. Okay. So I'll register. Okay, so this looks very. The other thing too is this. This display versus this display, like this. These look visually. Or is it supposed to be cvent? Maybe it's supposed to be that. These displays don't look related. I'm gonna register. I'll register off on another screen over here, just in case anything comes up. So I'll do this. I don't know why this isn't fill. I'll just do like my password manager is not liking filling in this form. It's the other thing that I'm noticing. Let's just do this. Let's generate something. Okay. All right, so I've registered, and then I will log in. All right, so I created an account. So we got my events. Okay, no events available. Create event. So is this just kind of like an event for like kind of like a meeting or something? So we can do like test event. Then we set it for like tomorrow. This is a test. And then this location, I wonder if you could also have like a map or something. I don't know. Or something that you can put in here. I don't know. Because like I feel like you could fill out anything for this, right? You could just say like New York. Yo, Jay, how's it going? Okay, so I've got this event. That's pretty cool. And then you could share it on different. Okay, so how do you like sign up for an event? Oh, you can sign up here. Okay. Interesting. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like as a very like minimum viable product, it's decent, I would say. So I can look up let's just look up tests. Yeah, so see, there's our event. That's pretty cool. Nice. So yeah, other than like some styling inconsistencies with the landing page, I don't know. It seems to work. Not exactly sure what the intent, like if this is just like a what's it called, like a portfolio project, or like what purpose this could serve, because like what is this doing that something like Google Calendar doesn't do, right? I don't know. That's just my initial thoughts, but it looks great. It's very cool. It works. I've got the event here. It's, you know, I can share it wherever I want. So yeah. All right. So I'll go back to, wait a second. Are there different people inside of this code base thing? I wonder. Can there be multiple people inside of a dev box? That's so weird. Interesting. Okay. All right, let's get back to it here. Okay. So use state hook. I don't know what a hook is though. I guess, okay, so we'll talk about hooks later. Allows for state to be defined in a functional component. Takes an initial value as a parameter and returns a 2-element array. The current state value and a function to update the state value. Okay, so this is kind of like a getter and setter, sort of. Maybe. State definition with use state commonly follows this pattern. Okay, so I'll just copy this guy. So it's almost like a variable, I guess. It's just a variable, like a property that can be attached to the component without being passed into the component. Interesting. Okay. When a component state or props change, React runs your component function again from the beginning to figure out what should be displayed. Oh, ew. The entire component is recreated, but this time latest state value will be returned. Oh, I see. State is important because of the way React re-renders content onto the DOM. The content is in a sense, but the state is returned from the use state hook. Maybe that's, I don't know if that's right or wrong. I think that's right. So it's almost like a way, like a save point. Virtual DOM is a lightweight representation of the actual DOM that React uses to keep track of the current state of the UI. React then compares the new virtual DOM tree. Okay. Whenever set background color is called, our app component is re-rendered. Oh, okay, interesting. Whenever a state use state function is called to update state, the component calling it is re-rendered. The initial state of a value is only used on the component's first render and then subsequently ignored. Functions that let you use React features. Use the prefix. So I would assume this functional component is the component definition, right? So like you can't call, like, so if you have any conditionals up here inside of the function, you can't call the use hooks inside of those. I see. So it would be like, for example, if you have a function component, something like this, and then you do like return property. Then you could do like a so if you do something like this, text property. Then you have an on button click. So I would assume though you can't like put this inside of an if condition, right? Like if numerical. I would assume this would be wrong, right? Because it's inside of a. Oops. Can I substitute you for some of my group project members? I promise your pinky does more work. Oh, that's that's a compliment. Sure. You know, I've dealt with my fair share of shitty group project members. No offense. So I know I know exactly what you're talking about. But I mean, sure. I think this makes sense, right? Because if we put like, so we can't do this set background color inside of an if state, or is it we can't do this inside of an if, like, so would it be like this? Maybe it's like this, right? It's dastardly at this point. Yeah. It's like when you ask people to, you know, do something and then they leave it to the 11th hour and then they still do like an absolutely terrible job. And then so they give it to you at, you know, 11:57 p.m. and you're like, well, shit, I don't want to submit this because it's going to be like a C, right? Or like a D grade or whatever, right? Oh, it's so annoying. And then you have to like fix it or like try to fix their work. Like, oh my God. I remember we had this report due when I was doing my first degree, and literally there were four of us in the group. Two of us were like pretty, you know, A-level students. It was me and one other guy. And then there were two students that like never showed up to class, you know, completely. This is over COVID too. So, you know, I guess the class was kind of, you know, it was virtual class, but they still never came. Anyway, we literally would just have to rewrite everything they do. Mid default leader of the group, just a baby. Yeah, exactly. No, and that's the thing is like, I don't feel comfortable being a leader in a lot of cases, but I just end up having to by virtue of the fact that I want to get an A, right? And like, it doesn't seem to bother people that or it doesn't seem to bother people to just use AI to like bullshit a 50 or like a 55 or whatever it is, right? It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I can't believe how far people make it. Um, anyway, I don't know. That's a little bit. I know it sounds a little arrogant, but I like you're preaching to the choir. Um, so, all right. So let's see. Read the following items, articles from the React docs. They pay thousands to fail or not learn. What's the actual point? Exactly. I hear you. It's like you're paying money. Like, I don't know. And then you're going into debt, right? And then you come out of school and you're like, oh, why can't I find a job? Well, because you don't have any skills because you didn't apply yourself. And even in my case, like okay, I got a job out of school, sure, but it wasn't in the sector I wanted necessarily, but I still found one. But like, I don't know. It's crazy to me. Exactly, yeah. And the only reason I got the job that I did was because I was an intern. I was a student intern, um, the summer prior. So literally the only reason I got the job. It was essentially a delayed return offer, if I'm being real. Um, so no, no, no. I listen. I appreciate it. It's always fun to chat and stuff like that. Um, it's not a big deal at all. I don't know. Um, I also don't know if you noticed, but I changed the stream layout a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna stick. I don't know like how I'm gonna handle the chat going forward because like I don't know if I want to give it like a background or something like that. But I'm just testing out the chat overlay um, on stream because I finally got that working. I switched from OBS to Streamlabs because Streamlabs has a lot more features that I didn't know about. Because I was watching a YouTube video on my lunch break, and I'm like, why wasn't I using this before? So, anyway, so I switched over to Streamlabs. I spent about an hour after work getting that configured. Um, if I were to hire a mod, like, what do you mean? Like, my mods aren't paid anime. Like all the mods that I have on stream, like Jay and stuff like that, like, and then there's a Razorblade. They're all just like moderator in the chat. Yeah. Um, I don't know. Like usually I just mod people based on if they chat a lot, they make good meaningful conversation, and they join a lot of the streams. Like I understand that like a lot of my moderators, well, not a lot. I only have like a few. Like not all of my moderators come to every single stream, but that's totally fine. So it's not even more so that it's just like contributing to conversation, willing to, you know, mute or ban people that are spamming stuff like that. Kind of watch chat. Like if I'm in the middle of a thought process and somebody asks a question, like being able to answer that question or point them in the right direction by like doing an explanation point like FAQ or something like that. Um, I don't know. Generally, it's just like you know, uh, I just mod people because whatever. Yeah, but then no, I'm not interested. There's no money involved. Exactly. Like I'm not gonna pay anybody to be a moderator. That's the other thing is if you want to mod for my chat, you have to be willing to do it for free. Um, yeah, exactly. No, I don't have the money to pay people. Are you kidding me? I can hardly pay for my own living. I can hardly pay for my own living. Um, rent ain't cheap, as they say. It's only going to get more expensive when I move. So, but the moving's important. Um, but yeah, and like gas prices. Are you kidding me? Anyway, that's that's another conversation. Yeah, no anime. That's kind of what I honestly don't know. I just kind of mod people based on feel, I guess. Like Jay, there's only like three, four moderators. And like yeah, or like chat moderators anyway. Um, But the other mod, Razorblade, he lives in a weird time zone, so he only comes every now and again. But he's the mod. Razorblade's the mod in my Discord as well, so he helps out a great ton in there, or a great amount, I should say, in the Discord. Yeah. Well, I'm working on it, anime. I'm working on it. But yeah, no, I don't make. Like, people are like, oh, you work in IT, you must make a lot of money. No, I do not. I mean, I don't make minimum wage or anything, but I don't make a lot of money. Uh, so, yeah, okay, so let's see. Components often need to change what's on screen as a result of an interaction. Typing into the forum should update the info. Okay. Okay, so state and components. 1. Local variables defined in the functional component do not persist between renders, i.e. necessitates use state for persistent data between renders. We learning about use states? Yes. Just state in general, but yes, use state. That is the current article I'm on. Changes to local variables do not trigger renders, re-renders. Obtain data between renders. Trigger React to render component with new data. You actually learned HTML, CSS, and JS real fast. Well, here's the thing, anime. I'm not going to say I've completed HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? But as I use React, it's not like here. Let me put it this way: it's not like when I go to React, I automatically am not also reinforcing the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript knowledge that I learned. If anything, what going into React is adding knowledge on top of the base as well as reinforcing that base. So just because I'm learning React doesn't mean I'm not learning HTML and CSS anymore, or I've finished. I am still learning all of it at once. It's just I'm at a level with HTML and CSS, I think, where I, can just tack on to that knowledge kind of, in the process of also learning React, because HTML and CSS and JavaScript are kind of prerequisites to learning React, right? So it's not like you're dumping all that knowledge as soon as you learn React, right? No, it's actually really important. So that knowledge that HTML, CSS knowledge is being reinforced and expanded upon in learning React. So it's not like the learning stops when I move on. It just kind of grows, I guess. But yeah, I mean, again, like I have the CS degree, so like I've learned how to learn in this kind of field. So I don't know. And there's still gaps that I might have, and I can fill those gaps in through, again, like maybe I'm learning React and there's a CSS property I've never heard of, right? I can, do it a little bit non-linearly, especially when I graduate from the Odin project. Graduate. Um, exactly, Jay. Exactly. That's also what I'm doing because I am focused on progress, right? And like I'm trying to leave like let me put it this way: the gaps that I do leave are gaps that are fillable without hindering further learning, if that makes sense. Like if there's something I don't know about CSS, it's not going to kill me to like learn it later down the line. Like I'm not missing a crucial piece, right? That's kind of also my problem. And if I am, and if I notice that there's something crucial I'm missing, I backstep, right? Exactly. And inevitably, I think, the other thing that to learn too is um if you don't or let me put it this way, if you try to learn, it's impossible to learn everything the first go around, right? You're always going to have gaps. If you tried to learn in sequential order with no gaps, you'd be in HTML for 6 months, which is not productive, right? So you have to strike a balance between being thorough with your learning and also progressing so that you can actually make progress, right? And it's still a balance that I'm figuring out, right? I might be going too fast sometimes and too slow others, right? But I'll figure it out. I'm confident in my critical thinking ability to feel how the pace of learning, like what pace of learning I need to be comfortable, right? So yeah, like again, it can get kind of tricky sometimes, but you know, anyway, that's my little rant about that. I should turn these into like sound bites or something and put them on like shorts. I've thought of doing that, but it would take too much effort to like comb through the streams and upload them. I know there are AI tools for that, but I'm not interested. Um, yeah, exactly, Jay. Exactly. That's just how it works. Um, okay, so I already got this information up here. And then adding a state variable. Right. Index is state instead of index is setter function. So the parameter passed into use state is yeah. The parameter passed into use is the value, is the initial value. There we go. You resonate so much with this. I tend to go down the rabbit hole on everything far too quickly. It's important to pace yourself and strike balance. Exactly, innovation. Exactly. Otherwise, you'll burn out, right? Like, for example, if I tried to learn every single possible thing there is to learn about HTML before even doing CSS, I'd burn the hell out. And the other thing, too, is learning them in parallel is good because then you learn a little bit about CSS that reinforces your HTML and then vice versa, right? So your learning can be nonlinear and that's okay, right? Like human beings are not computers. We learn non-linearly, right? Um, by basically taking little bits of pieces from all over the place and kind of combining them in our heads to make this picture of, or I guess it's more like a map, right? Um, anyway, I don't know. That's my thinking around that. Anyway, so let's just see what we have left of this. I think there's probably some challenges here. Yes. Okay. So there's some challenges coming up. That's good. In the meantime, though, I'm going to quickly head to the washroom and I will fill up my water and I'll be back in like 2 minutes. So, BRB. All right, I have returned. I actually think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a little background on this chat box. So I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna play around in Streamlabs for a second. Okay, so color block, chat background. Because I feel like then it'll make the text a little bit more readable. Let's do like a, I don't remember what the width and height of that is. Do like all black, and then like maybe make it a little transparent. And then what's the chat box dimensions? 700 by 300, okay. Transform. I feel like that's not quite the right height though. Oh, and it's also, I need to put this like there. Seven by 300. Why is it? If I had to moderate someone, would it still show up in the VOD with the overlay? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it would remove it. Let me see. I don't know why this isn't tall enough. It should be tall enough. Let me just maybe increase the. Okay. I'll just guesstimate. It has to be here. 700 by 400, maybe, or 500, 700. How long am I planning to stream for? Probably 2 more Pomodoro sessions, anime. I just want to get this height kind of right here. 700 by 500. The fuck, dude? That's not the right dimensions. I don't know how this is so difficult to do. 700 by 500. It needs to be a little shorter. Yeah, the dimensions keep changing weirdly. Okay, that's close enough. That's close enough. I will fix it. I will fix it after stream. There we go. That's better. How long have you been learning web development? I've been learning web development for, 3 months exactly. Thanks, anime. Cool. All right, let's get started. Sorry for that little digression. Let's go back to doing this. Yeah. So if you go back to my channel, Jeremy, if you see the VODs, that's how long I've been learning for. Yeah. I've also got the FAQ there. Thanks, Jay. All right. So, all right. I think we went through this already. No, we didn't. Anatomy of use state. Okay. Okay, so I see. React will remember if you change a state variable on re-render and ignore the initial value. Giving your component multiple state variables. You can have as many state variables as many types as you like. And then I would imagine this can get, you know, obviously with TypeScript, you'd have to type these. It's a good idea to have multiple state variables if their state is unrelated. Choosing the state structure. Probably save that for later. You might have noticed that the useState call does not receive any information about which state variable it refers to. Hooks rely on stable call order in every render. Oh, interesting. They didn't know state doesn't persist upon refresh of the browser. Interesting. So does it all go back to initial then, Jay? I'll actually write that down. State resets when browser is refreshed completely. Back to initial values. Maybe they do mention that somewhere, but they haven't yet. That's crazy. Oh, maybe anime. I don't know use effect yet. But I'm assuming it's a similar idea. Okay, let's see. Where is this? This is because the call order needs to be maintained for state, for associations between state variables to be known to React. In a component. It does so much. Okay, interesting. I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. Feels like when you're in like a functions class and people start talking about calculus, you know? Maybe that, okay, maybe that's a little bit of a stupid example, but okay. Let's see. Actually wasn't a stupid example, but a rather nerdy one. Yeah, fair. I just remember. I remember being, you know, in like grade 10 or grade 11 and hearing about like derivatives and being like, oh my gosh, what is this? You know, because in Canada you don't learn calculus until grade 12, which is like the last year of high school. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. Although I think like we have like classes called functions, which like I would imagine is like what they call pre-calc in the U.S. Don't trigger me. I don't know. That was fun times. I don't know. I was pretty good at math though. I wasn't like insanely good at it, but I was okay. I wasn't like a math genius or anything, but let's see. State is local to component. Yes. Okay. Each copy of a component will have its own isolated state. Sort of like instances of a class, question mark? I don't know. This example, the gallery component from earlier is rendered twice. Right. This is what makes state different from regular variables. You might declare at the top of your module, state is not tied to a particular function call or place in code. State is tied to the specific place the component exists on the screen. State stored separately. Private to the component declaring it, i.e. parent component cannot affect state of child, its children. Maybe there's something secret that's coming up later that lets you do that, but I don't know. What if you wanted both galleries to keep their states in sync? The right way to do that in React is to remove state from the child components and add it to the closest shared parent. Okay, so to have state persist or reflected, matched in multiple children, it is best to abstract or pull shared state into parent component into the closest shared parent component. Okay. Hooks are special. Yeah, okay. Hooks might remind you of imports. All right, let's do these. Let's do these exercises. So, all right, so complete the gallery. When you pass next onto the left, oh boy, hold on. Page keeps jumping for some reason. I'm not touching anything. I don't know what's going on. What happens if I press this, actually? Oh, this might be better. Now that I think about it. Yeah, let's do it like this. This is better than editing it in here. Okay. When you press next on last sculpture, the code crashes. Fix the logic to prevent the crash. You may do this by adding extra logic to the event handler or by disabling the button when the action is not possible. Okay. So if we go all the way to the end, it crashes. Okay. So we've got our button, which we'd probably handle it in here, right? So, oh, sign in and stupid. I don't want to fucking sign in. Okay, maybe I just well, I'll sign in then. whatever. Okay, preview. How do I get the preview in here? Let's try forking it again. There we go. Cool. I got it, I think. So now I should be able to edit this, right? Nice. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna do this cursed in browser shit, just because it's easier. Okay. So let's do the. All right. So we'll say if index is less than. Where would the sculpture list dot length, right? Sculpture list dot length -1. Else we need to disable the button, right? Actually, we'll just keep it like this. I wonder if this works. Yeah, so now it doesn't work, right? And then we need we need another button. Okay, so this should work now. Next, previous. Cool. And the other thing I want to do is disable the button somehow. Which I think I can do this. Disabled. How do I disable a button? Disable button. Yes. Oh, is it just disabled? Ah. I think I could just set it to true or false, probably. I was just gonna set the button to be disabled when you can't go next or previous. That's the only thing I'm trying to do. I think I could just do disabled equals index like this, right? Oh, that's the wrong one. Wrong one. My bad. And then this would be disabled equals index is sculpture list dot length -1. There we go. Yes, cool. So now the previous is, then this should, perfect. Then it grays out because you're at the end. Nice. Cool. All right, I think that's good for that exercise. Might benefit from an additional extension for IntelliJ or a different IDE. Yeah, it should have told me that. Yeah, this is just like some code sandbox thing. This default, whatever it is. I don't know. I think it's like a VS Code situation. Okay, so let's see. Fix stuck form inputs. Let's fork this. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not using like VS Code or anything for this. You gotta go now. I got 22 pages of MATLAB assignment to work on. All right, best of luck, anime. You're gonna absolutely kill the exam. Don't worry about it. Okay, let's see. When you type into the input fields, nothing appears. It's like the input values are stuck with empty strings. The value of the first input is set to always match the first name variable, while the value of the second input. Both inputs have the onChange event handlers, which try to update the variables based on. Okay, so this basically is just refactoring to use state instead of the local variables, right? So let me just import use state, right? And then so we'll get these initialized. So I'll say const first name set first name equals use state, and then something very similar for last name. Sounds good, anime. No rush. I'll be silent on this one, but I can wait for you to learn it. Okay, sounds good. I might be wrong in this approach, but I think this will work, right? Whoops, e.target value. So far, so good. Sounds good. Okay, so now this should be fine because I feel like that's just a reference to the state, right? Okay, so does this not? I feel like that works, right? Is that it? I don't see why that. I don't see how that. Because I would assume every time I type into here, it's re-rendered, right? No longer a beginner in any fashion. So okay, so you're revoking my beginner status. Darn. I mean, it's just because okay, and let me say this one thing. For anyone watching, when you go through this shit, you know, like when you're going through the documentation, you're writing notes and you're paying attention to what you're learning, actually then applying it in code like here is easy because you've done the learning already. At least that's how it works for me. I don't know. But I find when I actually take the time to go through the documentation and read, you know, maybe I read faster than others, but it kind of makes sense. And I mean, it might sound conceited, and I apologize, but I don't know. That's kind of my process. Okay, so there we go. Fix a crash. Okay, here's a small form that is supposed to let the user leave some feedback. When the feedback is submitted, it's supposed to display a thank you message. However, it crashes with an error message saying rendered fewer hooks than expected. Okay, let's see. So let's do a test here. Rendered fewer hooks than expected. If is sent, return. My thought is that there are still production enterprise websites that exist you can do that. Even if they're rudimentary, you're doing more than that now. Oh, production in vanilla. I see. I hear you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're saying like I could theoretically make like production level code or production ready. I appreciate the compliment. Okay, so what's the problem here? On change. Absolutely, yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I don't know. I don't know about yet, but in vanilla for sure. Yeah, yeah. Vanilla, but not React yet. I've only been doing React for this is day 3 of React. Okay, so we return thank you. But what's the problem? This one I actually have to think about a little bit more, I think. Feedback form. Oh, is it this maybe? Oh no, that's the message, sorry. Okay, so let me do our message. Form on submit. E.prevent default. Sending the message, and then sent is sent to true. Ah, it's because of this. This is inside the conditional. Maybe. I don't think you're allowed to do this, right? I think that might be it. Oh, wait. Guys. Okay, see? That was tricky. Well, not really, but it's because you cannot have the use state inside of a conditional. So that's the error. So yeah, I hear you. Okay. Okay, so that was an easy fix. All right. Remove unnecessary state. When the button is clicked, this example should ask for the user's name and then display an alert greeting them. You tried to use state to keep the name, but for some reason the first time it shows hello and then hello. Remove the unnecessary state variable. Why? We will discuss why this. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so it's like one behind. I see. Name, set name. What is your name? Hello, name. Button on click, handle click. So we get rid of the unnecessary state variable. So we don't need the state here. And I think, okay, so then let's just do this. Let name. What is your name? And we'll say name equals. Right? So this should just fix it. Yeah, okay. So the problem is, I think maybe because something to do with the delay with the prompt. I'm not actually 100% sure for this guy. I might actually read this one. State variable. Re-rendered, yeah. So I guess maybe the prompt Whoa, that is not what I wanted to do. I guess maybe prompt doesn't trigger a re-render until after the alert's closed. That's my guess. Something like that. Oh, the page re-renders before the variable's set. I see. Okay. I got you. I don't know. That's kind of an esoteric thing. Okay, so we have render and commit. So you have to do this guy. And there's no exercises at the end of this one. So I will take my break. I've been bad at breaks tonight. I'm not going to lie. But I'll take the break now. I thought I told this to ignore the common chat box, chatbots, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. I thought it would ignore Nightbot, but it isn't. It's kind of a pain, but whatever. Oh, now that I'm drinking clear liquid, I'm curious to know what the red one is. It was actually a diluted cranberry juice. I just kind of like go through, or I change what I want to drink. I don't know. Just we ran out of cranberry juice, and I didn't feel like buying any more. But yeah, no. This is just tap water. This is just tap water. And I will say the one thing about Canada that's really great is tap water is amazing. There you go. Yeah, it was cranberry juice. It would change depending on, like, sometimes there's cranberry grape juice, like a mix. Sometimes there's cranberry raspberry. It was kind of what I was feeling, but I just haven't bought it in a while. I don't know. I kind of got sick of it. And it was also, I'm not going to lie, it was giving me heartburn during the streams because I was talking a lot and it's kind of acidic. So it was like giving me heartburn. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to switch back to water. You're from India? Nice. We've got other members in our community from India as well. Honestly, it's actually amazing to see how many places people are from. So that's awesome. Not me struggling this whole time. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. Like, it wasn't like serious heartburn or anything. It was kind of bothering me a little bit. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to lay off the cran juice. I think it was just because I was talking. Because normally cranberry juice doesn't bother me, but I don't know. My digestive system is kind of quirky, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is. But no, I find having something to drink on stream is really important because I didn't for the first little bit, but like my throat would start to hurt, right? Like after stream, like I would just have a really dry, like scratchy throat. So I was like, no, I gotta like drink stuff or like water or like some liquid on stream. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Plus, you stay hydrated and you don't feel all you know, dehydrated and whatnot. Because that used to be a problem for me, like not drinking enough water throughout the day. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I would also when I was in school I would carry around this huge like 1 liter Nalgene bottle with me and stuff. That was good for drinking water, but you've been pretty good about it. When you're not, you might need a hydration timer. Maybe. I don't know. Usually it's whenever my throat like bugs me a little bit, I take a sip. That's usually like my cue to take a drink is like my throat gets a little bit dry and I'm like, it's time to I could do that though. I should have like I should have like a exclamation point hydrate or something like that. Because now that I have Streamlabs, because I was using OBS, like default OBS. Yo, how's it going, job lead? Now that I'm using Streamlabs, I think I can do alerts. So I might play around with that after. I don't know. Again, I don't know why I didn't use it before, because I guess I didn't really know it was a thing, or like really realize it. Anyway, here we are though. All right, so let's get to this render and commit lesson. This should take us not too long, I don't think. All right, so let's see. Render, React, rendering. Okay. It must be rendered by React. Understanding the steps of this process. Yes, good. Imagine that your components are cooks in the kitchen. React is the waiter who puts in the requests from customers. Oops. Triggering a render. Or submit request, I guess. Rendering component, preparing request, committing, change to DOM. The DOM update serves as the response. To use API lingo. Initial render. Calls. Create root. With the target DOM node and calling its, whoops. So that's that. Re-renders with state updates. Once the component has been initially rendered, you can trigger further renders by updating its state with set function. Update your component state automatically queues a render. Updates. State updates occur. Sorry, no, I should say renders, re-renders occur when component state is updated with set function. That actually makes sense, because you would only want to update the content that actually changes, right? So like if that's kind of efficient, obviously, instead of re-rendering the entire thing. Rendering must always be a pure calculation. Given the same inputs, a component should always return the same JSX. Rendering must be a pure calculation. Given a component with the same state, the output should always be the same. So like kind of like a pure function, I guess. Components do not influence the state of other objects, variables that existed before rendering. So this actually modifies the DOM, right? React initial render. React uses append child to put all the DOM nodes onto the screen. Subsequent renders applies minimal necessary operations that are calculated in steps. In step 2, to make DOM match latest output. Cool. I don't know what this input's for. Notice how you can add some text in the input, updating its value, but the text doesn't disappear when the content re-renders. I see. It sees that the input appears in the JSX in the same place as last time, so React doesn't touch the input or its value. After rendering is done, React updated to the browser will repaint the screen. Finally, after the DOM is updated, the browser will repaint the screen. This is technically called browser rendering, but painting is used to avoid ambiguity. Whoops. Can use React strict mode to find mistakes in components. The impurity. There we go. All right. There is that, I think. Read this article on React reconciliation algorithm. So this is like basically just a recapitulation of what I already learned, right? Kind of. Let's see. Okay. Reconciliation is the process React uses to figure out how to efficiently update the DOM. Okay, so this is like kind of for the rendering component, right? Uses reconciliation algorithm to make efficient render to derive I'm not going to write all this. I feel like this is kind of, unless this is important, I don't know. I don't think it's that important for using React, but it's good to know. Diffing algorithm, React compares the old and new virtual DOM. Commit phase, once the differences are determined, React applies the updates to real DOM in the most efficient way. Yeah, I have a lot of this already written inside of like here. No, not here. JSX maybe? I don't know. I'm sure I have this somewhere. Yeah. Initial rendering. And class components. Interesting. I don't think we've learned class components yet. I didn't actually think about that. I did not think about the fact that you could have a class component. What you're reading is good to know, but should component update is deprecated? Is it actually? Okay. Good to know. I will write that down. I will figure out how to write that down in a way that makes sense. Okay, let's see. Can use should component. Wait, how old is this anyway? Doesn't really say. But it could be an old article. Oh, no, last updated 13 August 2025. So maybe, I don't know. Your spelling is egregious. That's okay. Don't worry about it. I think you just put an A instead of an E and deprecated. It's not. Maybe I don't even know if I spelled it right. Let's see. Using react.memo. React.memo. higher order component for functional components that prevent re-renders if the props have not changed. Oh, I see. Okay. I actually have a question. Are class components commonly used? Because like I know I you know like when I was using like in a module sense like in a like when I was doing it vanilla, it made sense to use classes for modules, right? But I mean that's a completely different like design paradigm, so I don't know. But I would imagine this would be to like I don't see the benefit of using classes necessarily unless you want to, because if you have props, like I don't understand why the functional component, like why you would need a class. Depends on the architecture. Yeah, okay. Because I don't know like what the class is doing differently. Or like what an instance of this class would look like, right? And then this state is like an object, which is interesting. Like I feel like this is kind of confusing. I don't know. Oh, I see. Right, because like if you have like an archetype of a component that you want to dynamically create differently depending on certain parameters, then sure. But I don't know. I feel like it could get kind of messy. Let's see. Using key prop in lists. See, I think it's this one. Is it rendering techniques? Yes. Void inline functions and objects, JSX. It's a useful pattern, but can be confusing. Yeah, I could see that it could be confusing. Use React.pure component. Base class for class components that implements shallow comparison of props to prevent okay, I don't know what a shallow comparison would be. Let me think about that. Shallow comparison. Shallow equality check. Oh, I see. So it just tests whether or not the props have changed. I see. Checks whether the two variables reference the same object in memory. Okay, so let me put that in. Shallow comparison checks whether two variables refer to the same object slash location memory, not if their values are equal. Type and value. Oh, got you. Okay, all right, so that's that done. All right, let's see what this says. Head back to the color changing background example from earlier in the lesson and add a new state variable to keep track of the number of times the background color has been changed. Display the number of times the background color has been changed on the page. You will need to fork the code sandbox to do this. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we can do that. That's not a big deal. And then that should probably end off stream, I would think. So let's fork this guy. Is there a way to do that? Open editor. I think this probably will do it. Oh, it puts it in a micro VM. Micro VM, that's interesting. Micro VM snapshots are created to boot up in less than 2 seconds. You're a liar. This is taking longer than... Oh, shit. Are you going to let me do this? I don't know. Let's see. How do I fork from here? Wait, does it say how to do that here? Let's see. Click open editor in the top right. Oh, I see. There we go. Okay, there we go. I got it. Okay, so let's do a fork. Uh-oh. Is it going to crash again? No. That's unfortunate. Okay, can we do this at the end of... Yeah, okay, so it keeps fucking up. This stupid ass thing. Maybe there's too high demand on Code Sandbox. I'm probably submitting too many requests at this point. Probably bricking it. Damn, this is unfortunate. Okay, there we go. Can I not change anything? Oh yeah, I can. Okay, good. All right, so let's okay, so there's some other person in here with me. I don't know why. Like, who is this? Leave. Why wouldn't you be able to do that in the editor display it? Because I don't think... Because, yeah, if I try to type in here, it says sign in to fork and edit. Boo. Okay. All right, this is my own fork now. Okay, we're good. All right, so what did it say to do? Let's see. That answers the question, yes. Although having an editor as an embed in a web page is like the most cursed shit that I've ever seen. Like this whole like with an environment and everything. Okay, let's see. Add a new state variable to keep track of the number of times the background color has been changed. Okay, so this is pretty simple, right? We just do a const changes or num changes. Set num changes equals use state 0. And then when we set the background color, then we set num changes to num changes +1, and then we have to display that. So we can put it inside of here. I'm just trying to think about where this is. Colors.map color button. Okay, so we'll put it here. So I'll say like an H. They'll do like an H3. And then we'll do num changes. Number of background changes. Okay, that was easy. And I did it before the time ended. Nice. Although I don't know why the styles are not working for this. Let's make the styles better here. What's the font that was used? Is there no default font? Fun fact, you can put the previous state value by using arg in the setState call, so it would be previous state. Oh, interesting. So I could do it like wait, but what's the benefit of doing that? Like here. Like I'm assuming you're saying like this? Let's see. Oh, okay, fair. So like this then. I'm just confused on how this gets passed. How this recognizes what the state was, or is that just set changes value? Okay, so let's see what is the font style. There's no font style, so I don't know why this is like this, and the text here is. That's not a big deal. Both works, you just add an extra layer. I see. Okay. When you say life cycle, what do you exactly mean by life cycle? Because this was the way that it was taught. Like the way that I said before was how it was taught in the documentation. Like num changes +1. Like that's how it was taught in the. Oh, and then in this instance, it isn't actually calculated when the background changes. It's counting the re-renders. Right. I see. So here, if I press, okay, so see, okay, so I press the same button. Okay. But if I do it like this, then does that fix the issue? Let's see. No, that doesn't. So I actually need to check whether the background changes, right? Doesn't the tutorial? Okay, you know what? I'm determined to make this actually work. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll say if fuck, how do I do this? If color is background color, then return. Otherwise, do this. I think this just works, right? Just having a guard clause. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Just add this guard clause in. So now if I press the same button, it won't. There we go. Easy. Easy. All right, so I think that's good for today. Yes, it did resolve it. think that's good for this stream. We got a lot done, I think. So I'll mark this as complete. So tomorrow, we're going to do this more on state lesson. And then we're going to start on our first React project, which is going to be very exciting. Okay, so let's see. We'll be creating a small application which users can input their information and generate a CV. So that's very cool. Looking forward to that. So hopefully we'll get to that in hopefully the second half of tomorrow's stream, and Saturday as well. And yeah, it's actually disappointing. There's only 3 projects in the React course. There's the CV application project, a memory card, and then a shopping cart. So I think, and I was kind of mentioning this yesterday, but I'm thinking that after the React course, I'm going to pivot away from Odin for a little bit and move over to front-end mentor. Shad CN to your list to learn. That process is growing. Okay, sounds good, Jay. I'll write that down actually. But I was thinking of using full stack or front-end mentor, sorry, to build some free example projects using like React, maybe Tailwind and stuff like that, and kind of doing that and then coming back and doing backend after. Because I like some of the projects in here. I don't think I'm going to pay yet. I'll probably just do, some basic ones, or like the free tier. But yeah, I don't know. And then if I really like front-end mentor, I might maybe pay for the subscription, maybe. I don't know. Like this would be, okay, $96 US. It's like what, like 140 Canadian? It's not too bad for a year. Especially if it gives me like employable shit. So anyway, all right, I digress. But anyway, thank you all for watching the stream. I appreciate all of you coming. I will be live tomorrow again, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check the Discord for the schedule. And if you want to follow me along on my journey, I'd really appreciate a subscribe. That would be great. Join the Discord, link in bio if you'd like. And I will see you tomorrow.